Say Metro by T-Mobile got the best deal in wireless, and it's all for you, all for me. Just switch quickly, cause Metro has 2 lines for $80 and 2 Samsung Galaxy J7 Star phones for free. Plus Amazon Prime included. That's the way wireless should be. Only at Metro.
Plus sales tax and activation fee. $50 plus rate plan required. Not valid for numbers currently on T-Mobile network or on Metro in past 90 days. Offer subject to change. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members. Amazon Prime has a $12.99 per month value. Restrictions apply. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Say Metro by T-Mobile got the best deal in wireless, and it's all for you, all for me. Just switch quickly, cause Metro has 2 lines for $80 and 2 Samsung Galaxy J7 Star phones for free. Plus Amazon Prime included. That's the way wireless should be. Only at Metro.
Plus sales tax and activation fee. $50 plus rate plan required. Not valid for numbers currently on T-Mobile network or on Metro in past 90 days. Offer subject to change. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members. Amazon Prime has a $12.99 per month value. Restrictions apply. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, episode number 339. There will be peaks and valleys, highs and lows, ups and downs. But whatever you face, keep your forward motion relentless. Michael Delario.
Broadcasting from the back alley in Hollywood, it's the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, where we show you how to survive and thrive as an indie filmmaker in the jungles of the film biz. And here's your host, Alex Ferrari.
Welcome, my Indie Film Hustlers, to another episode of the Indie Film Hustle Podcast. I am your humble host, Alex Ferrari. Today's show is sponsored by ShotLister. Paper shot lists suck, and when something inevitably goes wrong on set, you're left to scribble all over your perfect plan. But with ShotLister, you can schedule your film shot by shot and minute by minute. Then on set, just update your shot list and ShotLister automatically does the math so you know exactly what you're doing. Check out shotlister.com, which is available on macOS, iOS, and Android. And as a special bonus, ShotLister is giving away 50 free downloads every month. Just email indiefilmhustle@shotlister.com for your free copy. The show is also sponsored by my new book, Rise of the Filmtrepreneur: How to Turn Your Independent Film into a Money-Making Business. In it, I discuss how to actually create the filmtrepreneur model and how to make money with your film or films and do it again and again so you can actually build a successful career and business. So if you want to pre-order the book, head over to filmbizbook.com. That's filmbizbook.com. And if you haven't already, please sign up for my new podcast, the Filmtrepreneur Podcast. Just head over to filmtrepreneur.com or filmmakingbusiness.com is a quick little hack to get there. And there where you'll get a ton of new information about how to become a filmtrepreneur, how to become an entrepreneurial filmmaker and make a living with your films. So definitely check that out. Now, today on the show, guys, we're going to talk about something that it's something that we all go through. What happens, what do you do when your project falls apart? Now, before I start, I do want to give a big shout out to the tribe member who suggested that I do this episode, Jim Henson out there. And no, not Jim of the Muppets, but Jim, he's a contributor to the Indie Film Hustle blog, and he suggested I do this episode. So thank you, Jim. Now, every filmmaker, and I mean every filmmaker, will go through this at one point in their life or another. It's just the way it is. You're not alone. It happens to everybody. It happens from the first student film you're getting off the ground to the $150 million, $200 million studio project that falls apart because the cast or the actor doesn't want to do it or something happens. It happens to everybody. It's happened to Spielberg and it's happened to the student. And there's something kind of freeing about that, because if you know that everybody else goes through it and it's just part of the process, then it doesn't hurt, or at least you can rationalize it a little bit more. Listen, man, I've gone through so many of these experiences in my life. I've been attached to so many projects. And the biggest project I was attached to was the subject of my book, Shooting for the Mob. If you guys haven't heard of it, I'm sure you have already, but for those who haven't, it's about how I almost made a $20 million movie for the Mafia and how I was flown around to Hollywood and met all these big stars and so on. And being that close to your dream and it getting ripped away from you is it was like literally a ton of bricks falling on top of my head while I was being kicked in the nuts. It was brutal. And I'm sure people listening right now, I'm sure tribe members who are listening right now, somebody out there is going through this, that the project that they've been working on for 5 or 6 months has fallen apart. And for many of you, it's fallen apart again. And I want to tell you something. And I said this at my talk I did last week at the Holly Shorts Film Festival. And I think it's very important for you to understand this. And I think once you hear it, it might make you feel better. I don't know. We'll see. When it comes to your dream, when it comes to where you've come from, what you've gone through, what it's taken to get to where you are today, and the struggles you've gone through to make your dream come true. When it comes to all of that, you know what? No one cares. No one in this business cares about your dream, about what you've gone through, about what it took to get to where you are. No one cares. And I'm not saying that to be callous. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm being honest. And I'd rather you hear it from me than when you're sitting in an office somewhere with an executive or an investor and they tell it to you in your face and you really get sideswiped and you really just fall and crumble after you hear it from someone like that. Because when you're sitting across the table from Batman and Batman tells you that he wants to be in your movie, the actor who played Batman says, I want to be in your movie. And can you sleep over the night? Just to so we can work on it for the next day or two in Wayne Manor, if you will. And when that happens and a week later, you're off the project, I'm telling you, it's grueling. What do you do to be that close? And I'm an extreme example of that. And there's many other stories out there in the nights of Hollywood and the streets of Hollywood that's even worse than that. But I'm sure it hurts just as much, and I know it hurts just as much because it's happened to me with every single film I've ever done, whether short film or feature or something along those lines. Other than the 2 features that I made myself, everything else, I was always chasing money. I was always trying to get that actor, put that pitch together, get a business proposal, get a PPM, take meetings, find investors, all of that. Take those meetings at the agencies and all of that stuff. And I just finally decided for myself that I was tired of giving the power to somebody else. I just decided to do it on my own. And that's something I really do advise you guys to do. Try to make the thing, whatever you're trying to make, your project, try to do it on your own. If it's a $500,000 movie, then find a project you can make for 10, 15 grand, 20 grand. Get it done and get it out there. So the title of this episode is what do you do when your project falls apart? Well, step 1 is, man, it happens to everybody. So understand that and have some sort of solace in that you're not the only one. And that's not going to help you a whole lot, and you might still be pissed and angry. But when you attach so much to something that you have no control over, you are bound to be disappointed. You are bound to get hurt because it's not in your control. It's just something that you have no control over. You're literally just saying, hey, that whatever happens to that dog today out on the street, I'm going to put all of my eggs in that basket. And if that dog gets hit by a car, your entire world comes crashing down. Am I right? Does that make sense? It did for me. My world has been torn apart so many times over a project. I've lost count. Because I used to give so much power to people and to situations and to projects that were literally not in my control. I finally just decided, you know what? I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm going to do it on my own. And if I have to do it on a small scale, I'll do it on a small scale. And hopefully that'll lead to bigger things in the future. But you know what? I'll be happy along the way, because there's nothing, and I tell you, no better feeling than to finish a feature film or a project that you've had a complete control over the entire time. And again, I've been doing this for over 20 odd years. Okay? So I've earned the right to have complete control over something. I've earned the right to control my own destiny. If you're just coming out of film school or have never made a movie before and you want complete control, rethink that. You might want to partner up with some people who've been doing this before. But still, do it on your own. Control the reins, the driving, the steering wheel. You got to take that steering wheel and drive, man. Because if you give it to somebody else completely, you're gonna crash, man. Because if that person does something that they don't like, you're gonna just fall apart. And I've had that happen to me so many times. Look, the reason why I made my first feature is because I was attached to another project with some big people, and I was already doing castings, and we were gonna go down this road. And all of a sudden, for no reason, it just all fell apart again. And I just turned myself and I looked myself in the mirror and I said, I'm 40 years old, man. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep playing this game, because tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be 60 or 70 trying to get a feature film made. I'm going to be that sad guy who's been trying for 30 or 40 years to try to get a movie made by playing by somebody else's rules. And that moment I said, I'm going to shoot a movie in the next 30 to 45 days. And guess what? A month later, I was shooting my first movie with a friend of mine, and we did everything. And you guys should know the whole story of This Is Meg. If you don't, I'll put a couple of links in the show notes so you can listen to the story of how I made This Is Meg. But that's what I did. I took the reins, and I promise you something. When you do that, oh man, is it addictive. It's hard for me to think about doing a movie when I don't have the reins. But I'm open to it, and we'll go down that road when those opportunities present themselves. But I'm having a ball doing this. I'm telling you, man, it is addictive. It really is. So when a project falls apart again, and it will again, and even when you're controlling everything, there's things out of your control, because this is a collaborative art. So it's going to inevitably crash again. I said something else at my last talk that I think would really be helpful to you is, I wish nothing more for anybody listening right now that any success that comes to you in this career of yours, in this filmmaking career, whether it's writing, whether it's directing, producing, cinematography, production design, whatever it is, I hope it comes to you slowly. I hope it takes time, because you need time to ripen. You need time to harden. You need experience. You need tools in your toolbox to handle success. If I would have made that $20 million movie when I was around 25 or 26, I would have self-destructed. I know I would have. My ego was so ridiculously out of control. I would have self-destructed, and I would have been a horrible human being to be around, because I wasn't ready. Some people are ready at 19. Some people are, on their path, they're ready to take it. And many do, But no matter where you are, and no matter what, even if it comes fast for you, all careers are forged out of the fire of this business. All of them. Do you think that Robert Rodriguez, when he was 23 and got El Mariachi, do you think it was smooth sailing ever since? It might look like that on the outside, but I promise you, he has been hardened, and he's got a lot of shrapnel. Maybe different than my shrapnel. Definitely different than my shrapnel. Definitely different than your shrapnel and your scars. But he's got them nevertheless. And I promise you, that's what you need. You need to think of this as a long game. And anytime you have a failure, it's another scar. It's another piece of shrapnel that's hardening you in a good way. It's creating that rhinoceros skin. It's turning you into a professional. It's turning you into a filmmaker. Because the professional doesn't sit and cry when a project falls apart. They feel it. They're human, of course. But they move on, and they move on quickly. After I almost made that $20 million movie for the mob, the shooting for the mob story, I went into a depression for almost 2 years. 2 to 3 years I was in a depression. I was so bad psychologically that I hid in a garage selling comic books on eBay. I got so low in my place, the rock bottom, close to the rock bottom. Rock bottom was actually almost filing for bankruptcy. But close to the rock bottom, I actually went to Hollywood Video when they were still around and submitted an application to be a video store clerk again when I was 27. And I hadn't been a video store clerk since I was 18. I had been a professional editor and director, but I was so destroyed that I couldn't even deal with it. I was so just obliterated that that's how low I got on my path. And thank God they turned me down, because I don't even know what would have happened if I would have gotten that job. You need to pick yourself up when something like this happens. I know it's easier said than done, but I've been there. Been there multiple times. Multiple times I've been there. You need to understand that it's a lesson. You need to understand that it's part of this process. It's part of a career. It's part of becoming a professional filmmaker in whatever field in the business you're going after. Your script doesn't get optioned. You're told that you suck. You go down the line for 6 months going back and forth with investors and agents and actors and all this kind of stuff. And at the end, the last second, the money falls through, which has happened to me as well. Literally like a week before shooting, the investor goes, I'm out. And now, oh my God, what am I going to do? That's happened to me. And I've seen it happen to multiple filmmakers, friends of mine, clients of mine. I've seen it. I've seen movies sit on a shelf with major stars on it for a year or two because they ran out of money. With major stars in it. They ran out of money. Something happened. Someone screwed up. Can you imagine being a director with a full movie in a hard drive that you can't even edit? Talk about grueling process of trying to find money for a year or two to try to finish that movie. It happens to all of us, guys, and it's part of the process. So if you're going through that right now, listen to my voice. I've been there. I feel you. I'm with you. You can make it out of this because we all have. And if you can't make it out of this, then this business is not for you. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to do this anymore? Do I want to move forward? Do I want to be relentless in my pursuit of my dream? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Because like I said earlier, no one cares. No one cares what you're going through. You know what they do care about? Money. That's what this business cares about, is success and money. And the only reason they care about success is because it has money. If you can make money for anybody in this business, you'll always have work. You'll always have work. In whatever place it is, man. If you can make money as a production designer, as a director, as an editor, as a screenwriter, if you can make somebody else money, you'll always work. Take that to heart. Take that really to heart. So just ask yourself, is this for me? Should I keep moving forward? I think you should, because you're listening to this. This podcast has found you for a reason. You clicked download and play for a reason. Don't take that lightly. This message has gotten to you. So listen, and listen very clearly. We've all been there, guys. You can make it through. Just understand that this is part of the process. I hope this has helped you a little bit. I hope this is helping. I mean, I wish I would have heard this when I was going through stuff. And trust me, sometimes I was so angry and so pissed off and so sad and depressed that even this might have not helped. But I hope it does help you. Just understand that we all go through it. Everyone goes through it. You can go back and listen to as many of these podcasts as you can, and with these interviews that I've had with these amazing filmmakers, and they've all gone through it. Every single screenwriter, every single filmmaker, we all go through failure. We all go through projects completely crashing after years of being on them. I know filmmakers who've been on projects for 10 years and it falls through. It just happens, guys, at every level of this business. So I hope this episode's helped you. I hope this episode is going to get you through it, or at least start the process of you coming back out of wherever you are, in whatever dark place you might go in your own head. But understand, it's completely in your head. It's something that you have control of. You can't control what happens to you in life. All you can control is how you react to it, how you handle it. That isn't 100% in your power, but what happens to you isn't. Keep that in your mind as you move forward in this. If you want a couple of links of the stuff, like the things about This Is Meg and things like that on the show notes, just head over to indiefilmhustle.com/339. And if I were you guys, I would tune in to Thursday's episode, which is going to be a special episode about how a filmmaker, a tribe member, if you will, they reach out to me and they said, "Hey, Alex, I've had a short film on my shelf for 4 years, and I've had the courage to finish it. But then I heard your podcast, and I finally got up off my ass and did something about it." And I invited him on the show to talk about his process of what it was like, how he went all the way down to rock bottom, moving back in with his parents at 30, and how he's been able to come back up. And he's in the process of getting his movie. The movie's finished. It's done now, finally, and it's getting out there. It's a fantastic story, and it's something that I think a lot of us have gone through. So if it's a nice companion piece to this episode. So I wanted to put these both out on this week. So again, I hope this helps you guys out. I really do. I really, really hope this helps you guys, because man, it's brutal. But it's what we signed up for. This is why we're here, right? We're in this business. We're following this dream. And this is, don't get pissed off about getting punched in the face when you walk into the ring and say, "I want to be a boxer." That's just the way it is. Be the professional, take the hit, and keep moving forward. As always, keep that hustle going, keep that dream alive, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Indie Film Hustle podcast at indiefilmhustle.com. That's INDIEFILMHUSTLE.com.
I can't believe it.
That Gerald is presenting the quarterly budget report with finger puppets?
Look, here comes a 1.7% decrease in fixed overhead. Hello, everybody.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
Who are you? The projected increase in organic Q3 revenue. Hooray!
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You've been up since dawn, standing on the banks of a dank Scottish moor. Suddenly, you see Nessie. You grab your camera and realize it's now or never. To test drive a 2019 GLC at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. It's a sleek and powerful SUV with pre-safe technology that can keep you safe on the road and an athletic and elegant body built to perform. The GLC. The legend is real. Test drive the 2019 GLC 300 today. Visit MBUSA.com/GLC to learn more. Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.